Open-ended question, but if I was to ask you who is Five Valleys Restoration, how would you answer that?
It's definitely not me anymore. It was, when I first started it, I became the face of it, but it's very much, I don't think it's any one person anymore. It's very much, I think we're a staff of 29 today, and we have built it with, it's not 1 year people, 2 year people. Obviously, Mark and I are the ones that sit at the top, but we have guys that have been there, guys and gals that have been there for 10, 8, 7, 5 years. We have a group that's come together, and we recognize that taking care of our people will help them become the face of the company too. So we try to treat them in any manner that we can. Our guys did a big bowling event yesterday, where they just all came together, watched football, went bowling, and I don't even think Mark and I were invited. So it was kind of nice. They did their own thing, which we were perfectly okay with because it's to build some camaraderie. Oh, yeah, we're always looking to add to our team. We are actively growing. We could do even more work than we're doing now, but we're building our staff, and we always like to build it the right way. We try not to just put a warm body in any spot. Bring them on, bring an individual on, train them the way we like them to be trained, and put them out there to be the best for our clients.
Did you know that the vast majority of storage unit companies around Montana are being bought up by private equity firms? If you want to do business with a family-owned, locally operated storage company, you want to do business with Copperstone Storeall. Copperstone Storeall Storage Units is Montana's largest boat and RV facility, and a new expansion is on the horizon, offering even more premier, spacious units to store everything from boats to RVs, campers to trailers. Find the perfect sized unit today at Copperstone Storeall. Visit online at copperstonestorage.com or call 728-STORE. That's 728-STOR. These are breakdowns. SkySportsMT.com. Jordan Tripp joining us as he does each week here. What was it like watching on from afar? Where did you go to the game, or were you watching on TV? What was your deal last week with you guys not having the broadcast?
It was nice, man. My wife and I and son went up to Flathead. We didn't go to the game. Went
Nice.
and watched it. Stayed up and had some barley sodas late and just watched the game. I thought that the broadcast did good, with the exception of showing Keenan highlights for Michael Wortham and
God.
and Dave Dickinson in place of Brian Ayotte. But I thought that Chase Daniel and their crew did a good job on the broadcast. It was fun to watch it though from the comfort of a seat and just watching the broadcast and the ball game. Man, it was a dominant performance
Yeah,
by
me and
Montana.
me and Sammy Akim were teasing Keenan Kern because he was watching from afar, and he said he fell asleep on his couch a couple times. He's like, "Man, if I would have been there, you don't fall. You guys were there, like you guys got to be there. So of course you guys aren't falling asleep." He's like, "I'm falling asleep, man. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Of course I'm
Yeah.
falling asleep, man."
Oh, it was a late one. It
Man,
was
I didn't
no
walk
day.
out of there until like 1 o'clock in the morning after the press conference. It was so funny because Coach Alk, he's excited about the win, but he wants to give you like one quote and go home because he's waking up in like 3 hours.
Yeah. He's like, I got to get some sleep. And then he's on to Idaho State. That's just
Yeah,
how he's wired, man.
that's exactly how he's wired. But you mentioned dominant performance. I thought um, Grizz controlled the whole game, even though Idaho had some spurts in the second half, and they kept they kind of came back to make it a little closer or whatever. But Montana dominated from start to finish. When it comes to controlling a game, how in your eyes did you think that they were able to do that? Like, what did they do well to make sure that it was sort of never really in doubt? I mean, it seemed like they were the ones dictating both sides of the ball all night long.
I think that when you look at a game from a dominance standpoint, even if I know it was 41 to 22 with whatever it was, less than a minute left. It was a dominant performance by Montana the entire game, and Idaho made some plays. With that being said, I think what they did well was, and I think this would ring true for a lot of different successful teams, is you win on third down,
Yeah,
you go for it on fourth down, you win, you cross midfield multiple times, you don't turn the ball over. So all of these things and obviously then on defense, you get off the field. You stop them in the red zone and make them kick field goals, which they did early, which was huge. I mean, those 6 points could have been 14, and that could have been a completely different story out of the gate. And so when you win in those situations, you win in critical situations. I think that's what allowed Montana to get up and get into a game plan that allows them to really flourish. It allows their defense to blitz. You can pin their ears back and they can bring 5 or 6 all day. And it forces Idaho to, or whoever they're playing to push it a little bit more. And then on the offensive side of the ball, when you're winning on first down, you don't have to get into 3rd and 5 plus and throw it every time. You can run it on 3rd and 4. You can run it on 3rd and 3, and you can throw it on 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 3, especially when you're in plus territory. Then you can go for it on 4th down, like Coach Houck did, which ended up being a touchdown. So, and I think that was in the second quarter early. I think that when you can win in those situations, it just allows you to play with house money a little bit more and not have to be sitting there going, okay, should we kick a field goal here? Should we punt them and pin them deep and play a field position game a little bit more than taking some shots?
The I wrote about this too. I thought that the sort of the defining moment of the game, other than the start, because I thought Montana got out to a great start. When you're up 10-0 and then 17-6 and then 24-6, like you said, that
Mhm.
just caters to the style that Montana plays. But then Woods kind of rolling around all over the place, and he started so poorly, but then he started getting it done a little bit. Like he started becoming a little bit of a problem. But and Idaho scored to cut it to, I think it was
11.
11, 31-20. And the Griz had the nice commanding drive, and they have the ball in their own territory. And it's 4th down, and there's no hesitation. They went for it, they kicked their teeth in, and then they, 3 more plays later, boom, they score again, and it's back in control. I thought that was a big moment for the team because I think you could just see, okay, we're not going to let this thing get away. We're going to exert our confidence. We're not letting anything slip away on national TV. And I asked Bobby, that was my very first question, and he said, yeah, that was the defining moment of the game. So what would you think of just that sequence?
You're absolutely right. Anytime you can have a team get back into the game, I mean, they were back in the game at that point. It's an 11-point game. It's a dangerous Idaho team. They can score from anywhere on the field, and you go on a 11 play, 5 minute, 47 or 6 minute drive, it's damn near 7 minute drive and convert on 3rd down multiple times, convert on 4th down, and then you go and score. It just really takes the wind out of the sails if you're Idaho, because now you're in a situation to where you go, okay, now we're back down 18 points and we're back into the 3rd quarter, going into the 4th quarter. We can definitely come back and still make this a ball game. It just takes the wind out of your sails, man, as opposed to getting a 3-and-out or getting off the field and making the offense punt. I think that was a defining point for sure. I think it was a defining point out of the gate, obviously, when it was a 10-0. I mean, if you want to look at critical points, though, too, Montana really could have buried them on 3rd down. Then they give up the long throw and it goes down the field. And I thought for a second there, I know that Montana was still up 18 and Idaho cut it to 11 and they went on the long drive. Had they not done that in that situation where, they went on the long drive after that long throw and the touchdown, it could have got interesting really, really quick. It could have been a 4-point game in a hurry. So I think the defining point was absolutely that, the 11 play, 6 minute drive that put them up 18.
The deep pass too, that was just a true freshman falling down, man. Like they put Gentry
Oh,
in there, and he's good. He's going to be really good.
he is.
And then that was just one of those plays where, I mean, Joshua Woods scrambled around for like 6 seconds, and then the poor guy gets tangled and falls over, and then they get the deep heave. But there was a couple specific defensive things I wanted to ask you about, starting there, because I think that one spot that's been, the Grizz have a stacked team that's a complete roster, but to me, their weakness on offense is they're still figuring out the center and they're still figuring out the right side of the offensive line. And on defense, to me, I think that they're good up front, exceptionally good at linebacker and safety, and great at one corner spot. I think they're coming along on the other one though. But that's the one I want to start with is the other corner spot because I thought Lawler played way better. And then I thought the fact that they decided, okay, let's try this hot shot freshman from Texas. Let's throw Gentry out there and see what he can do. I thought that was progress for sure. What'd you just think of that spot? Just the way that those guys sort of well, first Lawler improving, and then a freshman getting thrown to the wolves.
Lawler, I don't know if he knew it during the, I mean, you kind of have to know it if you're going to be opposite of five, opposite of Keon.
Right.
And they put a few guys on him that were their guys, and they went at him and they tested him and they went at him again. And I mean, they went on back to back. I mean, I thought that was probably the defining moment for him that said, I'm not going to just let you guys throw him. Even when we went back to back plays on, going into the south end zone on the defensive right side of the ball and those go balls. I think he stepped up and I mean, kind of established that 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 he's a very good corner opposite of Keon and did a great job when he was challenged. I think that he got tested later in the game and he didn't relax. I think he had a good physical presence and just established that. I mean, you're not going to lose 50-50 balls. You're not going to lose hitch routes. You're not going to lose. I mean, it's not just a given. So I think that was great. I think that Gentry stepped up. I think that that was invaluable to him to have the staff put a freshman in there when it was still. I mean, I know that Montana was in control, but things can get out of hand quick.
Sure.
You put a freshman in there against a good quarterback, and I mean, you get plugged a couple of times, and there's 14 points, and all of a sudden it's a ball game. So I think that that was great for him to get reps and in a primetime spotlight. And I think that he's going to be able to show up down the stretch, depending on Keon's situation. So I think that shows their depth at corner. And obviously, I just think you make a great point with the complete roster. They are so deep on defense with the defensive line and linebackers and corners. And I mean, they got four very capable guys on the back end. And I'm just going to throw the nickel in there too, because
Yeah.
sometimes they roll the nickel at safety and the safety at nickel. And they're
Yep.
all kind of on a string the way that they
Yep.
rotate. So I think that they have a very good, deep defense. And the thing that makes it all go, though, is being able to lock up those guys on the outside. You
Yeah.
got
I don't know if you caught this part, but they played Micah Harper on the outside for a couple
saw
plays. He
that.
had he had a
Yeah.
sweet pass breakup down in the red zone. I thought to
That
myself,
was
man, that's a crazy fold. If you can throw that guy and he can roll down in and then he can play some man to man on a outside receiver, that's a big time weapon to have.
when you have a safety who can cover a wideout man to man, which you you usually ask a safety to cover if it's necessary the fourth receiver. You're in 10 personnel and the nickel's going to cover the number three or the slot guy, and your corners are going to be matched up on 1-to-1, and then Micah or the safety would roll down on number four. I mean, he was covering their 1 and 2 receiver in certain sets in that play that you're talking about that he broke up in a critical situation. That was big time. That was pretty special, man, to have a safety be able to cover like a corner in a situation like that, because I mean that's a matchup nightmare. I mean that's what you're looking for as an offensive coordinator. How are we going to get a wide out or a running back on a linebacker or a safety, and we're going to go at our matchup? And they went for it, and he stepped up and made a play in a huge situation.
A couple of springs ago, they played Roush at corner the whole time too. And I don't know if Roush can actually do that on a regular basis, but he can run and he can play. He can cover out of the nickel spot for sure. So it's just another example of them. They continue to diversify their lineups, and
Hmm.
it's interesting because we were talking about it for North Dakota, Indiana State, all these rotations, and it's starting to come to fruition a little bit defensively for sure.
No doubt. I think that their defense and how they can be multiple, you'll see them in three-man fronts, four-man fronts, and obviously they're always in a de facto nickel
Yeah,
set, but their nickel and their safeties can play almost like a hybrid linebacker. You can put hype like Harper in there, and even Diesel can go in there and play in the box and not get pushed around. They got guys that are going to cut up the line up front and linebackers who are going to be physical at the point of contact. And it's kind of interesting because you don't end up with a lot of mismatches when you have the personnel in that's on the field stay on the field. So you don't have to sit there and go nickel. We're going to go dime. We're going to go big. We're going to bring in two more linebackers and go one corner in a jumbo set. Those guys can sit there and play ball, which is nice. I mean, it's nice as a defense, and you're not just leaving the same guys on the field. You're getting the 2 and 3 deep out there at some spots.
Hello, my name is Kelly Ayat, quarterback at the University of Mount Temple. In the off-season, it's important to do everything you can to prepare for the season. In high school, that means funding your program. In my experience, Vertical Raise is the ultimate online fundraiser platform. Now broaden your reach of your fundraiser and bring in more money than other platforms. And there are no sneaky or hidden fees like other companies. If you're trying to raise money for your program, reach out to Vertical Raise today.
Thanks so much for listening to the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series and for tuning into our Skyline Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to both the podcast and all your various podcast hosting networks and to the YouTube channel as well. Thanks to our great partners, including Ryan Miller and Coburn Law. Ryan Miller and Coburn are ace attorneys, each with different expertise. Paul Ryan, the master when it comes to DUIs. Angie Miller, excellent in medical malpractice. Abigail Coburn, federal drug charges. She's the one you want defending you. They can help in any and all sorts of criminal defense cases. They have a live answering service that's available 24 hours a day, 406-542-2233. You can also visit rmcattorneys.com. Ryan and Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. Let's hear from RMC right now. So tell me about just the behind the scenes for the firm expansion from just a branding and promotions standpoint.
Yeah, so I love the branding aspect of the business. That is something that, I don't know why, but it's like my little creativity outlet. And so when we were looking at doing the rebrand, we had our diamonds and we wanted to kind of update those to incorporate, where we were going. And so we talked about it. And one of the big things that drives us is that we are that link from our clients to justice, that we, get them to justice that they deserve. And so that's kind of where those 3 diamonds came into play, and that inner link to represent us connecting our clients to justice. And it really hits home for us.
The other defensive guy I wanted to ask about was Hunter Peck. I thought he really turned the corner on Saturday.
Physical ass dude, man. It's fun to watch him play. He had a great game against Idaho. I thought he dominated his matchup multiple times and had some big plays in critical situations. And yeah, man, that was cool to see him come along. And then you got Schwartz on the inside, and I just think Solomon Tulipupu and Caleb Atluski are 2 physical ass outside. We haven't had guys like that here, like I said, probably since Zach Wegman. I mean,
yeah,
really. I mean, it's just, you are not going to run at those guys flat out. If you got Solomon walked up, the ball's going to, like, if you're a linebacker, it's like, and they run stretch that way or zone that way, it's just like, and you see 58 or 45 over there, you should just know that they're going to set a vertical edge and it's just going to wind right back. You should just start blitzing inside if it's wrong. I mean, that's what having guys like that does for a defense.
Peck's finding his way too, because I think it would be really hard to play end in this scheme.
Oh my gosh!
If you didn't come up in it, right? Like Cale Edwards was the last really great end that they had a couple of years ago, and he kind of got baptized in. He came in as a linebacker, but then they said, "Okay, You're long and lean. Let's put you in here," and he did it to get on the field, and then he became sort of like this guy. He could sacrifice himself all the time, but he also could get around, and he had that big sack to beat Idaho in 23 that was a big time play, but yeah. he got baptized in it, right? I think it's hard to come in and learn, like, hey, there's this balance. You got to sacrifice yourself most of the time, but then also we expect you to set the edge. Also, if the play comes that way, we expect you to make a play. But Peck had that span late in the first half where he had the shed and he gets rid of the guy and makes the tackle, and then the next play he gets another tackle for loss, and then he was rolling a little bit, and it was fun to watch. They knew he was physical. They knew he was talented, but I think he's starting to grasp what his position is supposed to contribute to the scheme.
No doubt. I mean, with the defense that Montana has, there's really no gaps. There's run fits, but
Right.
there's no gaps. And the way that they cut the lineup and move, they're all fitting off of each other based off of their aiming point. So when Hunter is playing, in the over the tackle in a four technique, I mean he's capable of playing the B gap or the C gap. And when he gets off the ball and has vertical knockoff back into the backfield, and then he can snap I mean, there's not a lot of guys who are strong enough to do what he's done in some of those plays, especially at this level, to where they can actually, I know they don't have gaps, but to two gap, to where you can knock somebody off, and then once they declare, then you shed and then go make a play. So when you watch him do that, that's something that, like you said, it hasn't been here for a while. Kale was good at it. He was long and he was able to extend and get off of blocks and make plays. It's really, that position is a no glory position. I mean, a lot of the time you're going to be eating up a block or multiple blocks, and then the linebackers and safeties are going to clean it up. But when you are strong enough and explosive enough to two gap, and then once the ball declares, get off the block and go make a play, that's what it affords you. I mean, you can go do those things like Hunter Peck did and make big plays in critical situations. And you love it as a linebacker because nobody's getting to you. They got to account for him. And if they do, there's going to be levels in the line, and then you can shoot your crease and we'll make a play.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Right down the road, pump it up, yeah.
Thanks so much for listening to our Big Sky Breakdown podcast series and for tuning into our Skyline Sports YouTube channel. If you have not, please rate, review, and subscribe. Particularly subscribe. Click on the subscribe button. That helps us out a ton. Thanks to our great partners who help make all of this content possible, including Ty Hobbs at Keller Williams Real Estate. Ty's a great friend of mine, guy I lift weights with in the mornings, and a guy I golf with as much as I can, but he's also an ace realtor. I did not choose him as my realtor because he's my friend, although that was a big perk. He is excellent when it comes to everything from efficiency to negotiation to no frills, no BS. He got our house on the market and got it sold in less than 24 hours, more like 4 hours. It was an impressive turnaround. He got us exactly the contract that we wanted. We needed to stay in our house for a couple months because we had a new build coming up. He negotiated that flawlessly. The negotiation part is the number one reason why we chose Ty, but he also has a great acumen when it comes to construction, building, remodels. We had a flood in our house that I needed help with repairing. Boom. He helped me out. Awesome service, awesome job. And if you're in the market for a realtor, Ty Hobbs is your guy. Let's hear more about the current real estate market from the man himself. So let's start with, how would you characterize the real estate market currently in both Missoula and Western Montana?
Well, currently in Missoula, we've seen a rise in inventory and buyer activity slow down a little bit. So it's turning more into a buyer's market, more than I've probably ever seen in the last 10 years or so.
So what does that mean, a buyer's market? How would you define that?
A buyer's market is really just means that there's more homes for sale than there are buyer demand. So buyers have choices, especially in negotiations.
And that means less leverage for somebody that's selling their house, more leverage for somebody that's tried to buy a house, correct?
Correct. More leverage for buyers.
Okay, so if you are a buyer and you hire you as your realtor, how do you go about then sort of taking advantage of that said advantage?
Well, right now you have the upper hand in negotiations, right? And first we start with a CMA and get a value and see where that price falls in, or where the value is for the buyers. And then there's other things that we can negotiate, such as like seller concessions to help buy down the interest rate or give you a temporary break or relief on an interest rate to help with that monthly payment, so to speak.
So if people want to find out about that and other listings that you have, how do they find them?
Best way is just get a hold of me by phone, 406-544-9794.
The last thing I want to ask about on defense is, was that the weirdest targeting ejection you've ever seen?
My gosh.
like they reviewed it. Like no one saw it. It was so weird because then it was like they announced
Nobody
it.
talked about it.
But
Yeah.
we hadn't even known what had happened because it was a play that had happened like 20 minutes ago or something. Like in real time, I mean, not game time, but like it
Yeah,
was just so bizarre. And then there's like
it was so bizarre. And look, I'm all for protecting players. Football is inherently violent, and there's inherent collisions that are going to happen, whether or not the player is is actively trying to take a shot above the shoulder or not. And that hit that Peyton had coming back on the ball, it was just sad to see that in my opinion, I think it was the end of a quarter. There's so much time up in the box, and they're sitting there going, "Oh, watching the replay. Oh, hey, did you see that? Hey, so and so, did you? Yeah, hey, phone that down there. That's a helmet to helmet. If that was a tempo situation, you can't tell me that those guys are up in the booth are going to sit there and they're going to say, "Hey, that was a targeting. It was not egregious. It wasn't two guys going at each other. It was a receiver going this way and Peyton going this way, and they hit like this." Was it a physical explosive tackle? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a physical explosive guy. Did he hit his head? Yeah, he hit his head. He's running full speed and chasing the guy. How do you call that? I don't know, man. And it was just, to me, it's like you can't be ejecting guys when you have a long break with again, I'm all for protecting players. I stopped playing because of concussions, for crying out loud, man. Football is violent. It's inherent. It's always been violent. You can do things to protect guys, but that was a shame to see that, man. There's and to double down and back your officials. I get it. I get why they're doing that, man. Like you got to have your guys back. How do you not win that appeal?
Man, how do you not win that appeal? I totally agree. And
Come on.
here if I'm king for the day, here's what I do. I think you change the rule fundamentally, especially in college. Because in college, especially at the FCS level, like guys only get 25 games. Like if they're lucky, right? If you're
Yeah.
like an absolute stud, you get to play 30 or whatever. But if you get thrown out in a game and then you have to miss the next game too, like if you're a senior, like this happened to Nolan Askelson for the Cats a couple of years ago. He gets tossed and then he has to miss the next year. He missed 10% of his senior year for like
Because
just
of
for meeting the guy in the hole. And so here's what I do. Here's how I change the rule. Okay, you want to have targeting be a penalty? That's fine. It's a 20-yard penalty. It's an unnecessary roughness. It's a 20-yard penalty.
I agree.
But
Yeah.
nobody gets thrown out.
That's
Nobody gets
great.
thrown out. You got to stay on the sidelines for a series. You can come back in. You don't get thrown out. And if it's such a crazy, egregious, head-hunting, violent play, send it to the league office, and then they can determine if you get a suspension or not later, retrospectively. But you can't be throwing guys out of games and having them miss games on the other side
It
too.
changes the dynamic of a game completely.
Absolutely.
Especially if you lose a cover guy or the guy with the green dot or the guy
Yep.
with on the defensive line, to where it actually changes the dynamic of what you can do on offense or defense. And I'm just speaking of defense here. I was talking to Ty Gregorak about this.
Oh yeah, this is Greg Rack's favorite thing, dude.
Oh my
he
gosh.
goes crazy about it.
Yeah, well, so what about the guy who's the running back who catches the ball on a swing route or takes a dive up the middle and just
Right.
lowers his head, and you're supposed to, so okay, that target zone, which I would love for these people who are making these rules to be able to see what the picture looks like in real time when you do it. Okay, so for example, let's just go back to last year who we were talking about, which the guy didn't do this a lot, but take Tommy Malott, who runs a 4.39, or take anybody who runs a 4.39 or a 4.4, and on a dive and they hit the hole. It happens like that. And when you get it like that, you are doing everything you can to gather yourself and be in a situation to where you can shoot. And their head is just like this. And we asked it, I mean, all the time as players. Well, they're not defenseless. It's like, okay, so if I hit them though, and I knock them sideways or back, there is no other option for me to go at their ankles, and I may also be hitting their head or glancing off their head. There's
Right.
no,
Right.
and then you as the defender get ejected. I just think it's complete garbage. And I understand there's egregious calls where a guy's wrapped up on the sideline and actually defenseless or coming across the middle, and it's an actual like knockout jaw shot where I mean I get those, but man, like you guys were reaching for something like that. I don't know if you saw this, but it was the Sacred Heart game, and that there was an unsportsmanlike conduct. The guy for who the hell is Deshaun Jackson's team? What's the
Delaware State.
Delaware State. So Delaware State, the quarterback scores a touchdown, runs along the sideline, and is giving fans a high five. And the ref is like going after him, and then he throws a flag. Nothing was said. It's just like you are, and it was on national television. You are so keyed up on national TV that you just want to make a call. You're on national TV, up in the booth. You got a break at a quarter, and you just want to make a call. You're just itching. You're just itching to be noticed right now. It just pisses me off.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I mean, there's so many different things. The actual procedure of all of it, the way that it's reviewed,
oh my gosh,
the penalty of all of it. I just think that they got to change. I think they just got to change the severity of it, man. Like you just can't just be tossing guys out of games. I get that they want
give it a 20. Like that's a great proposal. Give it 20 yards.
Right,
20 yards in a critical game.
And you got to sit out that next series. Like you got to you got to exit,
20,
and then you got to have a change of possession before you come back on. Easy.
20 yards, man. That's a huge. Go 25 yards in the series. I don't care, but don't throw a kid out of a game,
man.
And then don't make him miss the second half or the first half or the next half of the following game. It's like, anyway, man.
Here's how you know the rule is broken: is even if your team is getting an advantage by that guy getting thrown out, that coach doesn't like it either, right? Like I'm sure Thomas Ford didn't want to see that either, right? Neither coach likes it when this happens.
Yeah, well, I mean, because there's collisions in football that are in nature just violent, and sometimes it's such an arbitrary, subjective decision by the referee. If the referee is not accustomed to physical, violent play and doesn't call a lot of games where there's a lot of physical, violent players, then they're more accustomed to throw the flag. You can see it. I mean, the guy that's calling the Sacred Heart game, he's probably called 100 games in his life, and I bet you that none of them had more than 5,000 people. And now it's on national TV. It's Deshaun Jackson and his quarterback, who's a stud, and he goes out there and throws a flag because he's all geeked up during the headlights. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna throw the flag." And then these guys are the same thing. Oh, it's on national TV. We got to show that the Big Sky Conference is on top of it. Like,
oh man, this is Griz basketball under Travis DeCuire to a nutshell, man. The Big Sky refs come in. They're reffing in wherever in front of 1,400 people. They come into Dahlberg. There's 5,500 people. Coach DeCuire's team is the most physical team in the league. So they get up into people's shorts, and all of a sudden they got 3 fouls right off the bat. Travis is like, man, this is how we play defense. You guys got to adjust to us. Just because we're better than them doesn't mean,
just because we're physical, just because our guys, the same thing goes for guys talking out there. I mean, guys talking all the time. And then a ref that comes in from a conference where guys don't talk or
don't talk, right?
And it's not loud and it's not hectic and you can't hear yourself think, and then all of a sudden they just freak out and throw a flag, and it's like, why'd you throw a flag?
Meeting her stopped your world. The ring you give her should stop her heart.
Tina, will you marry me?
Not again! Don't worry, I'm gonna fix this because we want to be your jeweler on our beautiful diamond! Clear! Come back to me, Tina! Are you okay?
Sarah, what up, E?
What's going on? Man, those are some nice medals.
Yeah, man, these are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 of them.
Well, that's nothing like going to March Madness, though.
We did go to a national championship.
Okay, guys, whatever. Let's just get on the Montana party bus and head over to Press Box for lunch.
Yeah.
Nuanez now and Skyline Sports, covering Montana athletics and the Big Sky Conference better than anybody. Montana Party Bus and the Press Box are also proud supporters of Montana athletes.
Hey, cheers to you guys, man. Cheers to Montana. Cheers to chasing more championships.
Yeah, we could go on and on about this forever and ever, but let's talk about. So, those are all my thoughts I had on defense. Offensively, I'm still so baffled by the center thing. I've been breaking down this offensive line, and I don't know. They are operating. It's hard to say that they are not playing at least adequately on the offensive line, because I mean they're rolling up like 500 yards a game on offense. Like, I mean, Gilman rushed for 150. You know, Ayat was nails again. They have all these playmakers making plays. I just wonder if they could operate a little bit more efficiently on the offensive line, if they could be even better. But to me, that's their only drawback, because now they're getting plays from. I mean, we knew one of those was going to be dope. Brooks Davis was a breakout early, but now Drew Deck is playing like the man. I mean, you splice all these different weapons in there, and man, they're just so hard to deal with. So I guess we can start with either side of that you want. The playmakers are the real deal. The offensive line's still a work in progress. So I guess it's sort of a balancing act right now for them.
Yeah, it's a cohesive unit, just like you said, and obviously, just because I'm a defensive guy, I mean, the best thing for pass defense is a good pass rush, and best thing for pass defense is a good pass rush. You know, so when you look at the offense, I think that having guys on the perimeter and weapons, and Kaylee Ayat and Gilman and everybody in the backfield and the tight ends to be able to get the ball, I think that when you are able to run the ball successfully, it helps, obviously, which the line has to block good for that. But when you can get the ball out to the perimeter quick and you force people to not just sit in an 8-man box and one high, and you can have 2 high safeties and they're not, I mean, you're going 4 wide, so you get a lighter box, you know, a 6-man or 6.5-man box with somebody sitting kind of out in that apex zone to where the ball's going to come out quick, and then you do get some of those runs. So that's where I think you can help an offensive line out a lot by getting the ball out quick, getting a little bit lighter box, and being able to have a more successful run game, as opposed to when you can't stretch the field and you can't get the ball out on the perimeter, then teams can go man to man and 1 high safety or bring 6 and cause a lot of fits for you. So I think that being able to get the ball to your playmakers can help that out a lot.
I also think they're so good at tight end that Gilman's that helps mitigate some of the weakness that they have. When they are on the right hash and they run to the left side and they run the jumbo set to the left side there, I mean, it's unstoppable when you have both tight ends on that side and it's the wide side of the field, because the left side of their offensive line is good. I actually think Brown is really good. I think Bamploff's good. And then if we put Schaefer over there too, I mean, that's a lot of man to deal with. That's a lot of beef on that side, and then Gilman can bounce it. But even on the other side, like, I think that they do a good job of mitigating it a little bit. And as long as those guys can seal, then Schaefer's the one that's making everything happen on those big plays that Gilman's ripping off.
Schaefer's a really good blocker. He's physical, and there's been a couple of touchdowns and obviously just big plays off of the right side. And obviously Eli does a very good job at pressing the hole vertically, even when he plans on going to the perimeter. He can press and then bounce rather than just going. If you see a lot of young, and this is talking about the line and Schaefer, but when you watch Eli press the line of scrimmage with his shoulders square, and you watch the defense collapse underneath, what it's doing is helping those blocks stay in front of his blockers, and then he's able to press and bounce, as opposed to on a stretch play, the same type of play, taking stretch footwork and just going straight for Schaefer, going straight for the edge. That's just going to bring the defense all the way to the perimeter and stretch it out. I mean, guys are going to be crossing face much easier rather than going right behind your block and then popping out. So I think that helps a lot. I mean, those things work together. Obviously, the left side is right now better. The right side, I think that they have had some success, and Schaefer does just a very good job at collapsing the edge, keeping things contained inside, and not as much separation on the interior, and allowing. If you watch a lot of the successful runs they've had to the right, a lot of it is they'll start Schaefer on the left and motion him over, or they'll start him on the line and they'll trade him over, or they'll have like a tight end and a receiver and they'll motion him across. It'll be the Z usually, Brooks coming across, and then the tight end that's in line, they'll press and then they'll bounce. So everything is hitting typically that's successful off tackle, so to speak, or outside the tight end on the right side, whereas your inside zone and your trap and your guard pull and your gap scheme stuff is hitting straight down, or more likely to the left with that offense, the way that it's set up right now.
It fits Gilman's skill set too, right? I think it probably drives Coach out crazy that they can't run inside zone. Like they can't do it as well as they have in the past, but they can run a heck of a lot of outside zone, and they can.
Oh man, yeah, they can. And that's the thing about Eli too, is there's good running backs and there's great running backs, and the great running backs have a second gear where they can burst around the perimeter and then burst down the field, and that's what he has. It allows guys to get their block just long enough to where once he's through and by, then he's gone.
Who does he remind you of, like wise? Because I know exactly who he reminds me of. It's an unfair comparison, but I know exactly who he reminds me of.
Yeah,
he reminds me of Adrian Peterson.
Okay, yeah, so
it's totally unfair. Adrian Peterson, in my personal opinion, is the greatest running back that ever lived. But where he like you're talking about the burst, where he can dance at the line and then boom, he can accelerate out of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, man. Like he can stop and go. He is such a freak athlete to be able to do it like he does.
Yeah, I know that's an unfair comparison. I get it, but he does have that component to him, man. He
does.
He until this year, I thought he was good. His first year is good, his second year. Until this year, watching him run, I think he is capable of not making a roster, but playing running back in the NFL. Just watching the way that he runs and how he has good pace and tempo to the hole and can burst. And then when he gets to the next level and he encounters contact, he's very strong, very physical. He's well balanced, and when he catches a crease, he's got the capability to hit the home run. And not a lot of guys have that, and he does. He definitely does. So to answer your question,
he's got more home run ability than any Griz running back, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would say the next back that's been like him, obviously Chase was extremely good, and Chase played in the NFL for a long time. Lex was extremely good. Justin was a running back, fullback hybrid.
Yeah.
But I would like he and this is just Montana backs. He reminds me of a hybrid. Lex was a big back. Chase wasn't big, but he wasn't small either. Kind of like a cross between them, but he's got the home run ability more than any back. That's
what I mean. Like he's way more, right? Like Chase has such good vision, and he's so crafty and all that stuff. I mean, Lex is just. I mean, Lex was a man, straight up man.
Yeah.
Nobody's got the burst that Gilman's got, man. I mean, he's way
agree.
faster than any of the running backs Montana's had.
Yeah, I agree. He has speed through the hole better than anybody I can remember. I mean, again, he looks like an NFL running back. So this is a funky comparison. I don't know if you, but he makes me think of. Do you remember Damian Williams?
Oh yeah,
for the Chiefs.
Yep. Oh yeah,
he had some serious juice.
Yep.
He reminds me of him a lot. And I played with Damian at Miami. He was undrafted out of Oklahoma, and then he went to the Chiefs and had a really good career. And then I think he went to the Bears or something after that. But he had like an 8 or 9 year career, and he was undrafted. The guy was a stud. I mean, he ran a flat out like legit 4.4, and dude was probably 210 to 215, but he could fly. And he could stop on a dime, and he could cut, and people would slough off of him. He was just strong. That's who Eli reminds me of.
It's a good comp. I'm looking at his page right now, and I mean, basically same size, right? Damian Williams was 5'11", 218. Like
Mhm.
Gilman's right now about 5'11", like 210, but he'll be 218 by the time
Yeah.
it's all said and done or whatever. And yeah, that's a good one. And they finally gave him some carries too, right? This is
Oh
the
man,
thing
how
that
about that?
Grizz Nation's been questioning. Why doesn't Gilman get 30 carries a game? And Hauk has been saying, well, we got to save him. We got to save him. Well, I don't think they're going to save him anymore. Bobby talked about it on his coach's show last week. He said, hey, we wanted to make sure this guy had 4 years in our weight room, and now he has, and now we can trust him with that load. But 27 carries is nothing to snuff at, and
No.
he performed.
Yeah, when they needed him, man, and they knew that they were going to need him in this game, and he just flat out, yeah, he stepped up. That was impressive.
All right, just briefly, what do you think about the matchup against Idaho State on Saturday?
You're gonna get the player answer in me, man. I think that I'll get to this part in a second, but Montana should win convincingly. I just, and this is ages ago, but I just can't forget what happened in 2009 when we were #1 in the country. And I remember going down there, and we obviously that was the year that we went 14-0 and lost in the national championship. But we go down to Idaho State, and we went on a last second field goal.
12-10.
I remember Mark returns the kick. Chase has a big catch down the sideline, or no, it was vice versa. I'm sorry. And then Brody kicks a freaking, I don't know how far, and then the guy jumps off the dude's back, and they don't call it, and that's what goes through my head when I watch this team. And yesterday I was watching UNLV Idaho State, and look, I know UNLV is UNLV, and they're not, and I mean that in the fact that they're not a top tier or even middle of the road FBS team, but they are 4-0, and they have beat, I know UCLA is not great, but they beat UCLA, and Idaho State handled UNLV out of the gate.
They did.
It was 10-0 out of the gate, and Cook, the quarterback, played extremely well.
Yep.
Their back 28 is big. Shulikov on the perimeter is big, and they got a couple of guys who can go get the ball. And I think that the last thing that you want, if you're Montana, is Cook's a riverboat gambler, man.
Oh, buddy.
That kid is, when he's on, it can be a problem. And
I love him, dude. I absolutely love him. I understand what the drawbacks are because he is a riverboat gambler. And I mean, they were winning that UNLV game in the fourth quarter. They were up 31-24, but then he threw two terrible picks because he has a hard time reeling it in. But I mean, dude, he's got a big league arm. He's got one of the best arms I've ever seen in the Big Sky.
He can
just
drive
doesn't know
the
how to
ball.
make decisions or like operate as well as you need to be able to do. But he has a big league arm.
So that UNLV game, and obviously he was out a couple of other games. You watch him in that game, typically just the first half. If I'm Coach Hauk and I'm a D coordinator, I'm saying, look, forget the score, forget who they played and beat 90-0. Like this is what you're capable of getting right here.
Right.
Is that. And if that team shows up, the team that played that way against UNLV, and you let them play that way, and you don't get them off schedule, and you don't get up on them and force bad throws and allow them to stay in the game, it could pose problems. So I think Montana should win convincingly. They are a better team. They're more physical. They have more talent. You cannot let a team like Idaho, who has They do have talent on the perimeter, and they have guys on defense who I think are pretty damn good players. And I'm not going to throw their names out right now because I don't know them off the top of my head. But number 7 is physical on the defensive line. Number 21, the freshman that plays nickel and DB, is a good ball player. And there's some other guys in the defensive line that are good. And then on offense, that running back's big, and that kid can play ball. He's
good.
Good running back. And Cook, if he can get those big guys the ball, it can be a problem. So you just got to make sure you shut down and play sound in your technique and sound in your coverage, and not let them get any cheap ones early, because if they do, they can turn into world beaters, man, and just don't let them hang around.
Well, and the other thing is that the offense that they run, where they just go 4 wide all the time, and they love running these skinny little option routes out of the slot. This is exactly what they did in 2023 when they came to Missoula.
Yes.
They knew the Grizz were bringing the house, and they just said, Cook, let's go. Here's your hot route. Get it out of your hands. I mean, I was looking at the box score. I think he completed like 33 passes that day. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards. He threw 3 touchdowns. The 2 picks are what killed him. But, I mean, they will be able to move the ball, because with the way Montana plays their box and like the way they bring heat, if he gets it out of his hands quick, you're going to get a ton. Like you're saying, like, you got to keep it in front of you and tackle and not let anything turn into a big play.
That's what they're going to do. I think that I don't know if the kid can identify this or not, but their whole RPO game, they pull a lot of guys, and they option the linebacker to the side of the back.
Yeah,
a lot of the time. So what that will do though is if you're in man to man, you're going to be safe because you don't have to worry about it. But when you're in zone and you're that backside zone linebacker who, when the guard pulls, you got to get over the top of the 1 technique or the 0 and fit on the inside, and there's that slant, that skinny post behind you, that's when it's a problem. So I don't think that Montana is going to play a lot of zone, which they don't in the first place, but they're going to run that with those bubbles, like you said, on the outside, and just get the ball out of their hands and make it turn into a tackling drill. So
well, it should be interesting, because I agree. I mean, Montana's going to be favored for the next 2 months, and I think that's going to be the key factor here, is like how much there's the matchup part of it, and there's the venue part of it, but then it's the hype part of it, right?
No doubt.
Bobby Houck is so funny, man. He came into the press conference on Monday, and everybody's asking him about the 4-0 start and how much fun everybody's having, and he's like, "Zero fun, sir. Idaho State's a great team. We got to get ready to go." It was pretty funny, man.
Yeah, it's funny that you hear his comments, because like, we're young, we're inexperienced, we have a lot of work to do. That's it.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Well,
Yeah.
good to talk to you, buddy. Have fun in Pocatello. Thanks for being here. And
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it.
yeah, man. Good luck on the call, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.